Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, car version, Tom. Look at that. I'm in the car. I'm not driving. I'm not moving. You're going to hear cars going by. I'm watching the snow start to fall. I apologize to everyone. I made our visit today start about 47 minutes late. That's on me. I had an appointment that I totally forgot about, and I'm a slacker. So with that, Tom, how are you?
I'm doing well, except you don't have to always defend why this is going on. So anyhow, I'm Tom Brush. This is Bob Graham. That's Bob Graham. And
that was funny.
And this is today's Antidote, our weekly wrap-up edition. This show, we broadcast daily, giving you the opportunity to find one thing to help you move forward, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe somewhere down in the future. And what we love about this is that we hope you will share your thoughts, whether in the comments now or if you're watching it later. Just mention that you're watching it later and this was your thought, and share your one thing. Because I think if there was anything we learned this week is that it is just real. What we share isn't right. It's just what's real for us in the moment as we're sharing it. And so there are others out there who might benefit from what you think is real. What's your one thing? So please feel free to share that in the comments. All right. So we have, as I sort of did a little foreshadowing, our conversation for the week was being right. And in some regards, that was sort of a tongue-in-cheek title, because I think our conversation was that maybe we can't be right, or maybe being right isn't that important. What were some of your takeaways from the week, Bob?
First of all, it was a great week. And if you didn't watch some of those programs, I really would encourage you to go back. I've watched two of them a second time, and I got some real gems out of it, just in terms of at one point in the week, I don't remember which day, but we were sort of talking through me being right about something. And Tom and I have come up against this wall with me a couple of times. And it's funny. I'll say, no, this is right. I just want to get it right. I've got to do it right. And I think moving to that idea of it being real at the moment has shifted things for me. And really, it just means like it was real for me 3 minutes ago to apologize for being 45 minutes late. Now, if I watch the program next week and look at this one, I'll be like, really, dude? Who really cares that you were 45 minutes late? But in that moment, it was real. And that doesn't make it right or wrong. It just is what I felt called to do then. And I think that gives us the ability to evaluate things and say, hey, okay, that's what I did that time. This time I might do it differently, or I might learn from that experience last time. And next time this happens, I won't apologize. Because as we know from One Republic, it's too late to apologize. There you go. Pop reference.
Wow. Pop reference in the middle of a Saturday morning weekly wrap up. I like it. Yeah. I think that it's one of those things. One of the things I thought about our conversation was the thought about worrying about whether it's right usually is just a judgment, someone's judgment, whether our own or someone else telling us what they think, typically whether they think it's right or wrong. You should change this, do that differently, do something else. And while that can be helpful, so often, especially if we feel like it's negative or it goes against our own belief of what we think is real, it leads us down the spiral of, oh boy, they didn't like it. Maybe I need to do things completely different. I need to change what I'm doing. We just end up.
I'm wrong, right?
I'm wrong.
Isn't that the, if we're not right, for me, there are only two options, right or wrong. And so if someone tells me I'm not right, there's only one option. There aren't shades of gray in my world. It's a simple formula. And so often I felt that I'm wrong. And what we're talking through, Tom, really gets me to the idea that it isn't about right and wrong. It's about discovering how to best proceed the next time.
Right. I think, that's what it's sort of about, is like, we understand that it's, one of our other conversations is about going from being right to being real. We talked about the planets. At one point, it was right, quotes, to say that there were 9 planets. Now people look back and be like, it might have been right in the moment, but it's not now. And so rather than worrying about being right or wrong, if it's just real, in the moment, it was real. We thought there were 9 planets. 50 years from now, they might look back and say, hey, you know what? Actually, there are 11. We just missed these other 2 that seem to be on the outer rim of the galaxy and didn't understand. And I think it's interesting. I'm going to throw this in here. You'll like this. One of my favorite football teams is the Buffalo Bills. And the head coach always talks about trying to become the best versions of ourselves. And to me, that's like, okay, I'm at the best that I am at this moment. And maybe there's the next best version out there. If I do something, if I learn from what I did today, tomorrow's version might be better because now I have a different understanding. What is now real for me is different. And I think, we talked a little bit about that, about your book, where you look back at one part of your last book and you're like, oh yeah, that wasn't great, whatever. Or the other day when you were like, well, maybe if I add this in, or if I add that into the current book, it will be helpful. And one of my comments back was, well, maybe that's the next version. And I think that's the opportunity. As long as we continue to take actions, we can evaluate previous actions to then move forward and take steps to create a different version of where we're at.
I guess that means the most logical topic for next week, Tom, would be actions.
Maybe.
Look at that.
Taking action. So, Bob, as you look back on this week, what would you say is your one thing?
It's not about being right or wrong. It's about what's real in the moment.
Okay. And are you going to be able to incorporate that into your daily routine?
I did it yesterday with a thing involving my wife. And that was a shift for me. And the result was we didn't get into a disagreement that I think we've walked into 20 times. And I think it's funny, some of these things that we talk through, when we can apply them to our business life, it's one thing. When we apply it to our personal life, to me, that's when it really starts to click.
Sure. I would agree. And I think that, one of the things that I took away was a question I posted in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group yesterday, because it struck me as I was, we recorded Friday's message because you had a meeting. And as I listened to it while I was playing, I took away that, we can spend a lot of time questioning our actions. And what I find is when I do that, I get into the could have, should have, would have's that really don't help. It's just a lot of time thinking, well, if I could have known the future, I would have done this. We don't know the future, so we can't really figure it out. And that if we spend more time evaluating the results, not in a judgment way of right or wrong, but like, okay, what did I learn? What didn't go as I planned? And now what would I do differently the next time, so that we can move forward and take whatever the next action is that, again, is not going to be necessarily right. It's just going to be what's real based on what we know at the moment. And I think that's the beauty, is that as long as we never feel like it's right, we will keep searching for what are those things I could do differently that might produce other results that will help me just keep moving forward along our own unique pathway to success.
Look at that. I love how you did. I see how you did that. So, Tom, real quick, just so people can mark it on their calendar, do you know when our next networking event is? I don't have a calendar in front of me.
Man, you're challenging me. Look at that. It's the 4th Thursday of the month, which this month
would be the 25th, right?
That is correct. How'd you know that without having a calendar in front of you?
Because I know something I have to do on the 26th.
Got it. So the 25th at 4 o'clock will be our next networking event. And
4 o'clock Eastern time.
4 o'clock Eastern time. Thanks for clarifying that. That's correct. 4 o'clock Eastern time. You can find more information about it inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. It's a great opportunity to connect and engage and grow your network in a very different way. You know, I was in a networking event run by somebody else this week, and they sent us out into groups, kind of like, all right, the first thing you got to do is figure out who's going to keep time and who's going to do. It was a mess. And we just kind of all sat there and took 3 minutes to figure that out. And then somebody shared their screen as a part of their presentation, thinking that that was what everybody wanted to see, which meant them go over their time limit. And it was just like that. I was shaking my head saying, all right, this is what it is. That's not the way we run ours. We'll give you a chance to actually one-on-one have a conversation with someone to get to know them a little differently. Yes, you'll be able to
more than one, Tom.
Yes, that's correct. More than one. You get an opportunity, just like if you were standing at an event, that you can have a one-on-one conversation with multiple people and figure out if there's someone you want to connect and engage with and whether they are good to have in your network and how that might work out. And what is real in that moment is you get to know them. And they might not be at that moment someone who you might have, oh, this is exactly how we could work together. But in the future, that might be a solution that would provide you with someone that you can connect with. Either they can help you, you can help them, or you know someone mutual that you can work together to benefit. So we hope you'll join us on Thursday, the 25th at 4 p.m. Eastern time for our next Renegade Roundup. Again, there's more information in the Facebook group. So with that, I think it's probably a good time to wrap this up, Bob.
I'm getting cold.
Well, we don't want that. All right.
Wait, who is the Buffalo football coach?
His name is
Frank Reich?
No, that's Indianapolis.
Oh, Indianapolis. Okay.
Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott. Okay.
Yep.
You mentioned him, and I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's I think very thoughtful. You know, he's a typical coach who doesn't give a whole lot away, and he just always talks about being the best version of yourself. And again, I think that you can only do that given where you are at the moment. Learn from it and then figure out how to move forward. So hopefully we are all continuing to work on being the best version of ourselves or our business as we try, to keep moving, to find ways to take our next step. So if you're interested in conversations like that and being a part of those discussions, join us in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where we surpassed 800 members yesterday. It was a big milestone. We've been pushing towards that for a while. So thank you to everyone who has joined us. And if you are not a member, please join us in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where organizational leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders who want to be around others who are trying to figure out how to take their own next step, how to create their own unique pathway. So you can join us by going to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and then ask to join the group. It's a private group because we're creating a community of people who are there to support one another. And then you just have to tell us why you're a renegade. And you can be a part of this growing community, helping others take their next step along their own unique pathway to success. Anything else you want to add, Bob, before we close out?
You nailed it. I'm gonna head out right now because I'm freezing and I haven't had breakfast.
Excellent. Well, good luck with that. While Bob is starting his car and heading out, I'm going to share a little bit more information. If you're struggling to figure out why you keep questioning your actions and not focusing on what are you learning from your results, it might make sense to join our Renegade Success Network, where we have a little more detailed connections, laser solution sessions, opportunities to really focus in on what are the next steps you need to take. So I'm going to share a little information about that. With that, have a great weekend, Bob. We'll see you back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of today's Antidote, or we'll see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Have a great day, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway.
Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.